Gentlemen No Class is proud to be a part of the HC Universal Network. Gentlemen No Class is produced, mixed, and edited by M5 Studios.
This podcast contains explicit language and is intended for adult audiences. The views and opinions of Gentlemen No Class are strictly for comedic purposes and should not be taken literally. For instance, like this disclaimer. Now grab yourself a pint and enjoy.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Gentlemen No Class, a podcast. And when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. I'm Jake.
And I'm Rob.
And like it or not, gentle ladies and gentlemen, we are the hosts for this evening's episode.
And welcome back from your vacation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we went to Disney World for a few days, and I'm glad to be back.
I'm sure. I'm sure that you're glad to not have to be like worrying about your kids straight 24 hours and like with so much stimulation.
Man,
like, you can't.
It's insane. Like Landon, he has no sense of direction. Like he'll run into people. He's so like starstruck with all the rides and everything. What's crazy is that, hey, do you mind throwing me a bad boy if you have any? Oh, you don't have seltzer. Don't worry about it. You're good. What's crazy is that today was the 50th anniversary, and thank God.
Oh, that's right. Did you plan that?
No, not really. No, we did not.
I bet your wife did.
She didn't tell me, right? But it wasn't crowded. But today, like this morning, we're on the social medias and we see like people were lined up at 6:30 in the morning. Like, thank God we're not there because I would be so freaking frustrated. I wouldn't even want to go. Like seriously, I'll just be in the hotel. Megan, go with the kids if you want. But nah, I have so much anxiety when it's like asses and elbows like that, and like
I'm not a fan. I'm actually like kind of worried about we're in a couple of weeks we're gonna go to Vegas. I've never been to Vegas, so Melissa has a conference or something, so we're gonna go to Vegas for a couple of days, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Oh,
like,
nice.
I have to like look up what to do in Vegas.
Is this an adult trip or you bring the fam?
Oh, Edie is staying here.
Oh, so man, you're going to have a blast.
I know.
Come on, man.
I know.
Oh.
That's what I'm looking forward to it. But, like, I mean, because like I've only seen, like, casinos like that in movies. And, like, there's a lot of people there. You know what I mean? That gives me anxiety.
So, you're going to be there in a couple weeks, you said?
Yeah.
So, you can do some sports betting now that playoff baseball's out there. So, there's...
You want me to place a couple...
I might throw you a few shekels. I'll let you know. But, I mean, dude... My trick is play roulette, put 5 on black. If it hits red, put 10 on black. If it hits red, put 100 or double your bets all the time. You eventually get your money and some, but you kind of have to have deep pockets.
Yeah, I don't
if
have
it hits
deep
red,
pockets.
If it hits red like 20 times in a row and you're still betting black, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
But that's fun. That'd be fun.
I mean, there is something to be said about trying to be that guy, you know, where the guy that shows up and bets it all on black. Mm-hmm. One spin of the roulette wheel.
Yeah.
I don't know what the payout is on that if you just bet black without betting a number.
I don't know. I think it's double. I think you get your money back and like double your money.
Is
it? Yeah, then if you bet...
But that's only like a 50-50 bet.
Yeah, but if you bet your number, then the odds are crazy. You know,
oh, so you get more than double.
Yeah, then I think there's like I forget, man. It's been such a long time. I usually play the computer one anyway. So,
yeah. Okay.
I'm too intimidated to go up to the tables and play like blackjack.
Yeah, me too. Because I don't really know the real rules, and I'm like,
YouTube
fuck.
it. Yeah. YouTube University.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. YouTube. Figure out how to play blackjack or Texas Hold'em or what. I mean,
yeah.
I just don't know the betting cycle. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that's the hard part to me. I mean, I know I get the rules, mm-hmm. but like I need to know like the betting cycle, like how everything like per turn and all that kind of bullshit.
And you get a double and you can split it and you can do 2 bets and all that noise. YouTube University, you can even learn how to count cards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No?
We're going in 2 weeks, man. I don't think I got I don't think you know like that's a lot of material I'd have to like clear out of my head to get that material into it.
You know, whenever you count cards, I kind of dabbled into it a little bit. You don't really count like how many jacks or queens are in the deck. You're just counting like, okay, if there's a 10 through ace or something like 8 through ace,
you give it
a value.
Yeah, and then you say like, okay, there's only so many face cards, so you count like, okay, that's that. How many face cards are on the table? So you count, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then okay, so you know that there's this many left. So that like if there's this many face cards out, then you bet high. If there's this many, you bet low.
Well, yeah. Well, like okay, so whenever there's a face card, it's like 2, and then there's like a low card, you take away 1, and then it's another face card, you add 2. So you kind of adding numbers and subtracting numbers to get to a certain value. I forget what it is, but I'm like, that seems a lot easier than me actually trying to count out how many jacks are coming out on the table.
I mean, is it like it's illegal, right? Like counting cards is illegal.
It's not necessarily illegal,
or
but
is it just frowned upon?
It's frowned upon, and if they catch you, they can kick you out of the table. You know what I mean? It's like it's not against the rules. I mean, you're just a badass player.
But they can kick you out for whatever, whenever.
Yeah, exactly. You know, put your feet on the table like in Casino. I don't know if you've ever seen Casino. Okay, never mind.
I think I have.
Like, get your feet off the table and like, screw you, I'm having a bad night. So they kind of hit him with a cattle prow.
Oh yeah, cattle prow. Yeah. Yeah. So, this episode, the theme of this episode is going to be major spoilers, by the way, because this just came out today, but we wanted to talk about it because I don't know, we were coming up with things to talk about, and this just kind of hit, and Jake had the day off, so he was able to go watch it.
Yeah.
And of course, me and Landrum and Brian went and saw it last night at the 7 o'clock showing. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, and I got the little nice little screenshot I got on there.
There you go. I like that. Looks a lot like Woody Harrelson.
So we're gonna be talking major spoilers for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I wanted to kind of talk about. We'll do some lead into it, but there's a couple other things that have happened since our last episode. Marvel's What If is doing really well. I don't know if you've been following.
I have
it.
not.
No,
I'm sorry. Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah.
There's been, there was like a DC thing that I wanted to talk to you about, but I've already forgotten what it is.
Well, it's not that important.
Exactly,
apparently.
it's not that important.
It sucks. Whatever. It's DC.
But no, there's a DC movie coming out soon, isn't there?
The Batman.
But when is that coming out?
2022. Yeah.
Oh, so not
really
next year.
Soon, yeah. Or maybe
Okay.
October. No, not this. Not next year. Next year for sure.
Okay. Well, they pushed back a couple of movies, and Venom got moved up. Like
It did.
2
I was
weeks.
like, when you told me, hey, it's we're watching it Thursday night. I'm like, oh damn. Well, I'm not gonna be able to watch it. Obviously, I'm out of town. But
Yeah.
Damn, it already came out. I didn't even know it was that soon.
Yeah. It was quick. They moved it forward.
I wondered there. Okay, we could talk about it later, but there has to be a reason why they may have moved it up. Has to be, maybe.
I think it was just because like they were itching to get material out there, because you know what it has to be. And this is speculation, right? Because
All this is pure
I
speculation,
think that the reason that they moved it up is because something in this movie plays into the final episode of What If.
Oh, does it? Oh, I was going with something totally different. Okay, I haven't heard
It has
this.
to, because that's all. Why only 2 weeks? You know what I mean?
When's the last episode of What If?
Next Wednesday.
Okay.
This coming up Wednesday.
Okay.
So if they would have released it on time, it'd have been a week after that instead of now it's a week before it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So I think that I'm gonna go on record and say that I think that has something to do with it.
But from our previous episode, if there's no, well, you said speculation, but you said
Yeah,
what
pure
if
speculation.
What If should never tie into any of the storylines because it is kind of
Yeah, I mean it's
not canon.
yeah, it's not canonical. At least as far as I know, but like this last episode, like I don't know, man. Like it's a 2-part it's a 2-part like season finale or whatever. You know what I mean? Like episodes 7 and 8 are like a part 1 and part 2. So it's pretty interesting the way that it's been going so far. And we'll have to see like kind of where this goes. Spoiler alert, like if you haven't seen episode 7, it's basically like, what if Ultron won? And it raises a lot of questions because in the what if Ultron won, he gets the body of the Vision, and he's like kicking everybody's ass, basically. There's no stopping him at that point. And then, like, in the show, Thanos shows up with the Infinity Gauntlet and all the Infinity Stones except for the Mind Stone, and Vision just goes, or Ultron goes, interesting, and slices him in half with the Mind Stone, just like that. And then goes and takes all the Infinity Stones, so now he's Ultron with all the Infinity Stones.
How come whatchamacallit, Vision didn't do that in the first place?
Exactly.
God damn it.
Because he was right there. He could have done it.
What the hell?
He let Thanos walk up to him. Well, I guess Scarlet Witch had blown the Mind Stone apart.
Okay.
And then he brought him back, and then he ripped it out of him. But he was like, I had heard that Joe and Anthony Russo had said that Hulk and Vision were too OP. So they hurt Vision right at the beginning of Infinity War, and then made it so that Hulk was scared to come out. So because they were going to be too OP, and there was no way to get past. They couldn't think of a good way to get past that, which is kind of stupid because I mean Thanos kicks Hulk's ass in the beginning, but and I can see how you could say that Vision is too OP, but I mean honestly, like once Thanos had the Power Stone and the Space Stone, like he was already like more powerful than Vision. So I mean it was
true.
but yeah, I mean, but how do you get the Mind Stone? But in the episode, it shows all these basically Ultron wiping out all life on Earth because that was his goal, right? Like as a kid. So then he starts wiping out life on all these other planets until and it shows like everything's out of sequence. You know what I mean? Because it shows them like the Guardians of the Galaxy fighting the Sovereign. Like with the Sovereign at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Gamora's alive and he kills everybody. That's way out of time sequence. You know what I mean? And then if Gamora's alive, how did Thanos get the Soul Stone? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And this has brought up a lot of questions. That's why I don't think it's canon, because it's brought up a lot of like, I don't think that they really thought this through all the way.
Unless what you said, it ties in somehow. Which is a stretch.
It's a
stretch. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It was interesting.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But anyway, so like in episode 7, he ends up wiping out all life in the universe, and it's just him, and he's like, now the universe is at peace, and then the Watcher's watching him, and he's like, you know what I mean? And then he becomes aware of the Watcher and aware of the multiverse, and figures out a way, because he has all the Infinity Stones, to break into the multiverse. And now he's fighting the Watcher, and like they're trying to get Zola loaded onto like a USB drive so that they can upload him to Ultron and basically have him take him down from the inside, kind of thing.
My question is that if you already made the universe at peace because you wiped out everybody and everything, what does it matter if there's a multiverse or not? Because
he has, once the universe was, they explain it in the show. So once the universe is wiped out of all life, he's a program with no purpose. So he's searching for a purpose, and that purpose leads him to be able to discover the multiverse.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Anyway, that's kind of where.
So right now it's at episode 8 coming out.
Yeah, episode 8 should be out on Wednesday, and that'll be the season finale. So anyway, let's switch gears over to Venom. I rewatched the first one.
I saw that on the
Vudu account. Yeah, so I rewatched the first one, and then so I wanted to kind of get into. Before we talk about Venom and Venom 2, kind of collectively, I wanted to get into what the symbiotes are and kind of give some comic book backstory on them, because I think it's an interesting story, and Carnage is one of my favorite characters. And like before we really get into like how they portray them and stuff like that, I made some notes and I was just gonna kind of go over like who all the symbiotes were, and kind of all the things that collectively like who all the different ones are and kind of their backstory with all that kind of stuff. So let's see. So we have people fighting
That's awesome.
on the live view about who was watching first. So the symbiote story. Oh, you can hear this is that shit that happens when I leave the
when you leave it on
the video on and you can hear me through the thing. So yeah, it's amateur hour, bro. So anyway, so in the Marvel universe, the symbiote story starts with Null, who's like a god that like exists before the universe is created, and he's just kind of like floating in the dark ether, you know what I mean? And then creation happens, and like it fucking pisses him off, kind of like the dark elves of from Thor 2. So in his kind of like pissed offness of creation, he creates an artificial planet called Klyntar, and then creates the symbiotes from the mass of Klyntar, and they are they have different powers and stuff, you know, but they're basically he makes the symbiotes and then he uses them as weapons. So he I'm trying to figure out a way to phrase this. They rebel against him and then they imprison Null, and he comes back later, but Null is one of those kind of like background characters that's super important though, but because like he did a lot of stuff. He made the sword, I forget what it's called, the Necro sword that Hela uses in the Thor movie, in Thor Ragnarok. Technically, that Null made that, and it's the Necro sword that she's using, which is like that big helmet thing that's part of the Necro sword. But he also, with that Necro sword, he's the one that decapitated the Celestial whose head became nowhere.
Interesting.
So that's kind of his like importance to things, you know what I mean? So I'm reading my notes here.
I see that.
So we know about Venom, right? So initially, do you know who the first character that Venom, the symbiote, bonded with was?
I mean, it had to have been. Well, I mean, if we're talking about the comics, and listen, I'm nowhere into detail.
In the comics.
I mean, it was in the Secret Wars with Peter Parker.
Right, but they retcon that. Actually, Venom, the first host that Venom bonded with was Deadpool.
Oh, was it really?
And it did not take long for him he did not want to be corrupted by Deadpool's like craziness, so he unbonded, and that's when he found Peter Parker in the kind of.
So what if the what if is canon then? Because there is a what if Venom leashed onto Deadpool.
No, but that actually happened though. They retcon that because and I don't know, that may be that's like, maybe, I don't know.
You don't know? Yeah, okay. I did not know that. Interesting.
Anyway, so we talk about Venom bonding onto Peter Parker, and he Peter Parker gets superpowered, way overpowered, but he's got that voice of Venom in his head, and everybody's kind of seen. I think most people are familiar with that relationship, right. And he gets rid of him, and it bonds to Eddie Brock, and Eddie Brock is not like the Tom Hardy Eddie Brock in the comics. Eddie Brock is a criminal. Like he's really is a bad guy. Like he's a criminal. I mean, he's a comic criminal, but he's a criminal. So the Venom symbiote latches onto him, and they just go on to cause all kinds of chaos and stuff like that. And they're fighting. He's fighting Spider-Man, and because the Venom symbiote was attached to Spider-Man for a time, Spider-Man's the Peter Tingle that Aunt May calls it. What do you call it? The Spider sense. Yeah. It doesn't work with Venom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the comics, it doesn't work with Venom.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Interesting.
So when the introduction of Carnage happens, Venom explains to Eddie that he's the 998th generation, and every generation spawns the next generation or whatever. So Eddie Brock is in prison. He's separated from the Venom symbiote. And he's in a cell with Cletus Cassidy. The Venom symbiote breaks in, rebonds with him, and leaves, but not before it spawns a offspring. That offspring bonds with serial killer, crazy, Cletus Cassidy, who was based on the Joker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Did not know that.
Yeah, so they based Cletus Cassidy on the Joker, and when it bonded with him, that was when you get Carnage. So Carnage is now out and about or whatever, and Venom and Spider-Man have to team up, and they are able to kill Carnage. They're able to separate the symbiote and burn him, and that's how they get rid of Carnage the first time. The Life Foundation found a way to take a piece of Carnage and clone it, and that became the symbiote Scream. So technically, Scream is Venom's offspring.
Okay.
And so there was another storyline, and that this is the more famous storyline, is Maximum Carnage, because the Carnage symbiote in Cletus Cassidy was able to infect his blood, making it almost impossible to separate the two of them. So when Cletus Cassidy was back in prison, his body was able to clone basically the symbiote in his blood, and was able to. That's when the Maximum Carnage storyline came out. And from there you get so that would make him the 999th generation, and then by the time he gets through, he spawns the next one, which is the most dangerous, and the one that that Carnage and Venom both fear, is Toxin, who's the most dangerous symbiote, and he latches on to Patrick Mulligan, who in the movie is played by, that's the detective in the movie.
Oh yeah.
So that's where they're going with that.
Yeah.
The guy, Tommy from Snatch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I forget what that guy's name is. Something Graham.
Boardwalk. No. Yeah. I think
Boardwalk Empire?
He was in Boardwalk. He was Al Capone. Fucking what's that one Scorsese movie?
Shit.
The Irishman, Kill the Irishman.
Was he?
Yeah, he was in there too. But no, Toxin. That's a more recent symbiote, right?
Yeah. I mean, more recent-ish. Yeah. I mean, so Toxin would be the 1000th generation.
Okay.
And they did some cloning. They forcibly removed seeds from Venom, the Life Foundation, and made symbiotes. And that's when they made Riot, Phage, Lasher, and Agony. And Scream went through and killed all of their hosts. So they went ahead and all the four of them combined into one. And became hybrid, and they bonded with another host, and I forget who it was, but it was all four of them. They were hybrid. That was another symbiote.
Did you, in your research or anything, did it ever bring up about Venom going into other characters like Flash Thompson?
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. So the most famous Venom host is obviously Eddie Brock, but Eddie Brock dies at one point, and the Venom symbiote attaches itself to Flash Thompson. And Flash Thompson had come back from war, and lost both of his legs. And so when the Venom symbiote attached to him, he became Agent Venom, and he was working for the U.S. government as a secret agent, kind of Soldier of Fortune kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. I don't know what you're talking about. Agent Venom was cool as fuck.
I stopped reading those. But then I think it after Flash, because now the biggest thing is it's on Dylan Brock, apparently. Did you read up anything about that?
No, that's way too recent.
That's more recent. That was maybe a few issues back, but I don't know. So Eddie Brock, he ended up dying, but did he ever come back? Or
I don't think so.
Oh, no,
I mean,
but they kill him off completely.
Yeah, but I mean, comics, they reboot that shit every couple of years. So I mean, I'm sure that they're bringing him back at some point. You know what I mean? They'll bring him back, and he'll be just like he was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they'll just start it all over again. It'll be another universe. So now that we've talked about symbiotes, let's talk about Venom and Venom 2. Let's just get it out of the way right now. Did you enjoy Venom 1?
I did. I liked Venom 1.
Did you enjoy Venom 2?
I'm gonna call it that.
Unsatisfied?
Unsatisfied, yeah.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
also.
you too?
Yeah. I did not enjoy. I did not like the movie.
I mean, it wasn't. I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. I mean, but it's like when I sit down and watch Fast and the Furious. It's gonna be cheesy. I'm gonna enjoy it, but I'm not gonna ride home with it. I'm like, it is what it is, and that's how I felt with Let There Be Carnage, which I think is a lame title, but whatever. For one,
Tell me.
well, the CGI was kind of like,
It was it was iffy in a couple
it's
of
like
spots.
it was rushed. I felt like a little
Well,
bit.
the movie was only an hour and a half long,
Right, but
which is short.
The fact that they pushed it up a little bit means that they were okay with whatever they had on screen right now. I thought the CGI could have been fine tuned a little bit more, but whatever.
There were a couple of scenes where I was like, "Ooh, that was not good."
There was a couple times where Venom was moving and it looked like it was Ben-Hur, like or like an old school Charlton Heston movie where it's like stop motion animation a little bit. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but besides that, like just plot wise, this is what I didn't like. One, I don't like how they've made Eddie Brock into like a good guy. Like he's a piece of shit human. Like he's a bad guy.
Right.
Like they decide to fight crime together, but like this whole movie is basically like a love story between Venom and Eddie, and like how they need each other and they have to be together. And then there's another love story going on in the background between Cletus Cassidy and what's Francis Barristan, which like Cletus Cassidy is not just a serial killer, like a maniacal mass murdering serial killer. He's not like breaking out of prison and going to Guy Fieri's wardrobe closet and getting dressed up and going out on the town.
Guy Fieri, that's hilarious.
I mean, that's what he was wearing, basically, with like the fucking flame shirt and stuff.
That's hilarious.
No, I mean, and when Carnage took over Cletus Cassidy, he did not let Cletus come back out. Like, he was Carnage.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it was not like both of them walking around. No, he was Carnage all the time because that was the dominant personality. Somebody online mentioned that, like, his voice, the voice that they used for Carnage wasn't great. And I agree with it, but I didn't really know what it was about it that made me not like it. And I think I agree with them and I figured it out. It's too low. I expected it to be more like, I would want it to, like, in my head, I heard it as like a really high pitched, maybe like multiple voices at the same time.
That would have been cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
kind of, that would have been cool.
Kind of showing that crazy, you know
it sounded too much like Venom, if you ask me.
Yeah, it did.
There are times where you didn't distinguish who was talking.
And I mean, it was like Carnage had too many like ideas. Like in the comics, like Carnage is just an agent of pure chaos, of happenstance, circumstance. This is here right now. I'm gonna do this. Like, no, you know what I mean? And he had a plan and like all that. I'm like, I did not enjoy that at all. Like, now the fight scenes between Venom and Carnage, when Carnage was like full formed and everything, that was cool. Those were really good, really well done.
There's just one scene where, like, you know, Carnage is shooting up and Venom's coming down, and that'll be a great movie poster. Yeah, and I'm like, oh wow, that looks pretty badass. But other than that, it didn't do too much for me. The fight scenes were great, but it's just like any other fight scene that I was seeing Fast Furious, or you know, it's just like it was action packed, Expendables, but with like, you know, symbiotes. Yeah, if you ask me, whatever.
And that's a fair point. But I mean, my big beef is like, okay, yes, there were some funny parts in that movie, right? So
when he says spoiler, when he says fuck off, or at the end.
Oh yeah. So okay. I mean that was so. there's some funny parts, like Venom's commentary to Eddie, like when nobody else can hear it. Some of that shit was pretty funny.
At the cooking scene.
Yeah. But like there's other stuff in there that's like, I don't know, like just the relationship between Venom and Eddie, like the way that they made it out, like
you complete me, kind of.
Yeah, but that's the way that it was. But they never split. Like they knew, like that's what made them so dangerous, is because they were such like aligned. It was their symbiotic relationship was so strong. It was hard to separate them. You couldn't separate them. Because of that like mental bond that they had. But I mean, they really didn't play into that too much. You know what I mean? It was just like, it felt like a bad breakup movie. You know what I mean? And then you had the Carnage thing going after his girlfriend and shit. It was like, oh man, like it was just stupid. You know what I mean? Like
the storyline was kind of like weak. It was very weak, actually.
And like the whole, like the way that they illustrate Carnage in the comic, I think that what they're going for is the fact that like because he's bonded to Cletus's blood, like he's very flowy, like it's not tendrils that just stick off of him all the time. He's just like a very like his suit is like when he's out as Carnage, it's more liquid than anything else. You know what I mean? That's the way I've always envisioned it, and more like flowy, like where he can't keep it contained because he's so crazy. You know what I mean? And this, they just made it like, oh, let's just give him, 1,000 appendages sticking off of him all the time. And they made him like get really big and shit. Like, I don't know where that superpower came from, but that wasn't in any comic book that I ever read.
I wouldn't know. No, to be honest with you. My whole beef with it was started from the very beginning to the casting. Okay, I got over Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. It wouldn't have been my first choice, but it seems like that's not his role. You know what I mean? Like I've always said it from the very beginning. Like I like my superheroes portrayed by actors or actresses, and to people that I don't even know. Like that's why Man of Steel was a badass movie, because no one knew who he was.
Yeah, nobody knew who Henry Cavill was.
Same thing with the best Spider-Man, in my opinion, is going to be going to Holland.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And no one really know who he was. I mean, I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was Spider-Man in the comics was a kid, a teenager. So,
right. But what I'm trying to get at is that you bring in Eddie Brock with Tom Hardy, and it's like, okay, he's an A-list actor. I don't think that's a perfect role for him. And same thing with Woody Harrelson, like as Cletus Cassidy. It's just, it seems like they're too over the top A-list actors, and when you put A-list actors in a superhero role, you expect you've seen their old movies, you expect that acting capabilities portrayed for Eddie Brock and Cletus. And when I saw Woody Harrelson, I saw Kingpin. I saw all the other, all the other movies that he's done, and it didn't flow well with me.
And that's what I took. Like, so that was what Landrum was going when we were going into this. He was like, "Have you ever seen Natural Born Killers?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have. Have you ever seen fucking Cheers?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get that Woody Harrelson.
He's a great actor.
He is a great actor, and he played crazy in this movie very well. He just didn't play the right kind of crazy. Like, I think they totally missed the mark of like who Cletus Cassidy is as a person, and they missed that because it's really hard for like an actor to portray a serial killer, because how do you get into that mindset? Like, that's totally beyond like the realm and scope of like what you should be able to, do as an actor. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, it's like normal people don't think that way. So it's hard to like, you'd have to do some kind of disassociation and try to like think like a serial killer to be able to, and then the script wasn't written well enough to be able to like, to hash that out that way. And I don't know, man.
I think when you make like cheap puns that they did all over this movie, it's for a cheap laugh. It just lacks like effort and great content. Whenever I don't know, there's a handful of them, and I just can't put it on top of my head. But it's just like, man, you got lazy creating, writing.
Yeah,
this
there
stuff,
was lazy dialogue.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the movie. I left the movie, and Ryan and I both looked at each other and were like, man, that was one of my favorite characters, and like I just feel like they totally fucked it up.
It wasn't too bad. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. It wasn't something I'm going to write home about.
It was a good time. It was a fun movie to watch. I will give you that.
Yeah. But that's enough bash. I think there's enough bashing the movie. We both know what we like about that movie and what we don't like.
Yeah.
But the direction that they're going with it, you can touch base on that. But to me, Marvel knows what the hell they're doing.
But I don't know that how much of a hand Marvel had in this, and so, like to me, spoiler alert. Yeah, there's a mid-credit scene at the end of it, where Venom, Eddie Brock are on the run. They're at this shitty hotel in Mexico, and Venom's telling Eddie that he's lived 1,000 lifetimes and seen things all over the universe and all this other shit, and
he's gonna tap into
he's like,
more.
yeah, let me show you a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And so Eddie's eyes start rolling and he wakes up and then something happens and the whole hotel room changes around him.
Yeah.
So I think that is what we see in the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer when the spell goes bad. That's instant.
Possible. However, if that is the case, then they shouldn't go to Jonah Jameson revealing Spider-Man.
But that could just be a replay.
It could be a replay.
You know what I mean? Because
it's possible. Yeah, it could be a replay.
Yeah, I mean it's not happening live in Times Square. That could just be another,
a delayed reception from a third world country.
Yeah, but no. But
I know what you mean. It could
yes
have been
and no, but you don't know that the spell works.
That's true.
You know what I mean? We don't know that the Doctor Strange spell removes Peter Parker from everybody's memory like we see them saying it will in the trailer. We assume that it works, but we don't know that it works. So, I mean, honestly, we have to see how No Way Home plays out. But, I mean, that's one of those things, right? If the spell doesn't work and that's what happened, now Venom is in the MCU.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's safe to say that he's in the MCU now.
And I think that Kevin Feige probably the only thing he had his hand in was that post-credit scene.
And that would make sense. But why is Venom so infatuated with Spider-Man? Right off the bat, he sees Peter Parker as Spider-Man and he licks the screen. Is it a threat? Does he feel like he's posing a threat? I mean, obviously we don't know.
I think it's because he has powers and he's like, ooh, who is this guy?
Showing interest.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's showing an interest in him. And that's what I'm saying. We don't know because the whole multiverse got mixed up right then. So we don't really know, why Venom feels that way. But maybe it's some kind of unnatural attraction that he feels towards him. You know what I mean?
What other explanation could it be outside of the Doctor Strange spell?
It could be that's, I don't know.
Could it be no, I don't know. But if the time, in the one show where Kang time ran out.
Yeah. I mean, it could be the multiversal split. It could be the blip. But I mean, that'd be a long time because Spider-Man No Way Home is Spider-Man Far From Home is 8 months after the blip. So Eddie wakes up in a hotel room 8 months after he blips back.
Right. Okay. But so the trailer does show Doc Ock, the old Doc Ock, Molina as him. So that just tells you that a Sony character is in the MCU.
Oh yeah. I mean, so somebody leaked like the entire plot of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, did you read it?
Yeah, I read it.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Landrum goes, you read it, didn't you? And I was like, well, yeah, I read it. And I was like, I want to see, like, to be able to compare. And he goes, no, you just can't help yourself. Can you? No, I can't. I can't help myself. But from, and it could be wrong. So we won't really know until we see the movie. And we don't know what scenes will make it into the movie and what won't. But apparently the plot of No Way Home has to do with, you know, this multiversal fuck up that Doctor Strange initiates. And it ends up bringing in they end up with it ends up bringing in the Green Goblin, Electro, Sandman, the Lizard, and I forget who the last one was, maybe Venom, as like a Sinister Six kind of thing, right?
Right.
And in the process of doing that, like the multiverse is opening and they have to get help, right? So, and in that, like you get Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, who has kind of retired as Spider-Man. He's trying to just live his life. He doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore. And then you get Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, who after the death of Gwen Stacy is totally pouring himself into being Spider-Man 100% of the time. And that is the confliction in the movie is the like Tom Holland's Spider-Man is helping both of them find middle ground to be both.
Tom Holland introduces Andrew Garfield. Here's this Gwen Stacy. Have fun with her, you know?
Yeah.
No, maybe.
So, because if you watch the trailer, like when Ock comes up and he's like, "Hello, Peter," you can tell that it's a different scene than the scene that they show where he's suiting up on top. Tom Holland is suiting up on top of the car, and you see the pumpkin bomb, and that is definitely Willem Dafoe's pumpkin bomb from Spider-Man 1. And then you see Electro and Sandman.
Do you see him in the trailer?
Kinda, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but Jamie Foxx has already said that, like he's back as Electro, and he's not blue; he's yellow. So, like, that's one of those things. Like, I think we're gonna see how it plays out, but I think that, like, bigger picture, like Spider-Man No Way, and that's where the No Way Home comes into it. Is like there's no way to get these other Spider-Mans back home to their own. You know, that's the whole thing. He has to be able to. That their goal is to be able to get them back to their home, but at the same time, like there's no way for him to go back home to the way that it was.
But it's not confirmed that there's other Spider-Mans.
No, I mean, there's enough.
Okay,
there's enough online.
Well, we don't know. The No Way Home could be also a story for like lined up of Tom Holland's Spider-Man feeling so much regret for forcing asking Doctor Strange to blow up this whole
he didn't ask him to blow up the universe.
No,
the multiverse.
Yeah, he didn't. But he did initially inquire, like, I want them to forget, and then he's fucking like, no, actually, I want May to remember, and I want MJ to know.
That's what I don't get.
Stupid,
like,
you
what
know?
the fuck? Like, make them forget, and then just go tell them again.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Nobody's gonna know? Okay, fine. Nobody knows, and then you go home and be like, "Hey, by the way, I'm Spider-Man. Mary Jane, I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Ned, I'm Spider-Man.
Right.
Cool. Problem solved.
Hey, man. Yeah. Fair enough.
Roll credits.
Fair enough, man.
That's why Marvel Studios doesn't hire me to help them write, because shit would make too much sense.
It would make too much sense. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's just like you said that Tobey Maguire's character is the Peter Parker is he's just burned out. He's like, leave me alone. I don't want to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's gonna be like an old Spider-Man, like a Peter B. Parker.
Like, you ever seen that video clip of Tobey Maguire trying to get out of the car, or he's in a car and the paparazzi's all around, like, leave me the fuck alone. I want to leave. That's
I haven't seen
that. Yeah, you should see it. It's hilarious. But that's apparently Peter Parker, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
yeah.
it's like, I don't want to be Spider-Man anymore. Then Andrew Garfield, what is he?
He's gonna be he doesn't want to be Peter Parker anymore.
Oh.
He wants to just be Spider-Man. And so Tom Holland Spider-Man, who is living a fairly balanced life, it helps them both realize, the benefits of one side or the other, and then.
That's a lot of story in a 2-hour film.
I think they said the runtime on Spider-Man No Way Home is longer than Infinity War.
Jesus. Okay.
2.5+ hours.
That's a long movie for Spider-Man. It's a long movie for Spider-Man.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of people, and said that. So, and they also said that the Eternals is going to directly tie in and affect Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So whatever happens in Eternals, I'm pretty sure T'Challa dies in Eternals. Whatever happens, like a meteor crashes on him while he's taking a shit or something like that. You know what I mean? And like that happens in Eternals. Like and that way they don't have to show T'Challa dying because Chadwick Boseman's already dead. But you know, honestly, they could use his stunt double for a lot of stuff, but they said they're not going to do facial replacements on him. But they could do like a CGI Black Panther. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
they could put somebody else.
suit.
Yeah, somebody else in the suit.
No, they said that they're not gonna recast and they're not gonna reuse his face over somebody else. But they could just do like a CGI Black Panther, and Black Panther's fighting somebody and he dies.
Okay, so CGI Black Panther and someone in a Black Panther suit. How is that any different?
Because it's not Chadwick's face.
Well, you're not using his face. He's still in,
That was the
in
whole
costume.
thing. Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
and now
in
obviously you don't want to CGI the guy's face. The guy's
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. That's what they said they weren't going to do.
But I mean, he could still suit up, or
Yeah,
someone can suit up.
Yeah, and if you watch like Infinity War and Endgame and stuff like that, like a lot of those scenes are CGI.
Yeah.
They're really well done CGI, but they are CGI. So we have a lot of stuff on the horizon. You know what I mean? Like this year alone, Eternals comes out in November, and then Spider-Man when did Spider-Man No Way Home come out?
I don't know. Is it out of the realm that Venom be in Spider-Man No Way Home?
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
And they do a team up to go and abolish fucking Green Goblin. And
they may
Doc
have
Ock?
to, and I don't know. I wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know. Interesting. It's Marvel though. They're doing it up again, and it's irritating.
December 17th is No Way Home.
That's right. It is a Christmas movie.
Man, we're talking about. And did you see the Hawkeye trailer?
No, I didn't get a Hawkeye trailer.
Oh my God! It's going to be a Christmas, like it's set around Christmas. It's
okay.
Hawkeye the TV show.
I got Ghostbusters. Did you get that?
Oh yeah. That's been the same trailer for a while. That one's going to be good.
Yeah.
Let me see. When does Eternals come out? So it's October now. Eternals is November 5th. Dude, we've got so many good movies coming up. Holy shit! Eternals November 5th. Spider-Man December 17th. Wow, there's a lot of good movies coming out.
What's after Spider-Man?
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is March 25th. Morbius is January 28th. Thor: Love and Thunder is May 6th.
Mm-hmm. Wow, there's a lot.
There's a lot, dude.
Jeez. Well, good for them.
I don't know what's in October though.
There's
We have
in
nothing.
October?
I don't know. There's no movie in October that I can see. But anyway, I think there's probably a TV. Eternals finishes up, and then we get a couple weeks off, and then I guess What If will finish up. We'll get a couple weeks off, then we'll hit Eternals. Eternals will have its run. And then,
But what's on the Disney Plus front after What If? Is there anything?
No, not till Hawkeye.
Not till
I don't
Hawkeye.
think.
Okay.
Yeah, not till Hawkeye in December. No.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna make me look.
I'm not. Should already be
should
prepared,
have.
man.
I'm
man.
sorry. Let's see. Let's see. Marvel, Disney Plus shows. Let's see. So, All right. Hold on. I'm finding the list. All right. WandaVision came out. Falcon and Winter Soldier. Loki's already out. Hawkeye is coming out. What If is almost over. She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, Secret Invasion, Armor Wars. None of these have release dates. This article sucks.
Hey, that's what you get, man. That's what you get.
I know.
It's all good. It's all good. While you're looking that up, what's your rating for Venom? Let There Be Carnage.
4.5.
4.5.
4.5. Yeah. It was fun. I'd watch it again, but I wouldn't like.
I'll give it a 6.
A 6?
5.5 to 6.
Okay.
5.5 to 6. 5 3/4. How about that? I don't think it deserves a solid 6, but I mean, we're rounding up. I think it's better than 5.5.
Oh, here I got the whole.
Okay, what we got? What we
This
got?
is the upcoming. No, that's the films. Oh, here it is. Okay, so What If is August. Hawkeye is November 24th.
Wow.
And then the movies we got. Black Widow was July 9th. Shang-Chi was September 3rd. Eternals November 5th. Spider-Man No Way Home December 17th. And then Doctor Strange March 25th. Thor Love and Thunder May 6th. Black Panther Wakanda Forever July 8th. The Marvels November 11th. Ant-Man, and then we're into 2023. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And then Fantastic Four, and then 4 untitled Marvel films in 2023.
Fantastic Four. You think that's gonna be a bomb?
No, I think it's gonna be bomb as fuck. Yeah.
yeah. But like all the Fantastic Four movies suck, you know. It's
So with the multiverse, here's my question:
Oh, shit, wait.
do you get a scene of Chris Evans as the as the Human Torch?
They're not gonna do that.
I think they will.
Why would they do that?
Why not? Because it'd be fucking funny.
It'll be funny, but then it'll be so confusing to people that don't know that he was the Human Torch at one point.
Come on, it's a way
They're
for
gonna be like,
Marvel
what the
to tie in all of those franchises
But
together.
yeah, I guess.
And put them under one umbrella.
No, I mean, yeah, that's why they're doing it right, and you know all this like. So if that's the case, are you going to throw in? I mean,
The other one with
can't-
Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch?
Obviously, yeah,
Yes.
why not? Yeah, but I mean, just I guess it's Universal. The first Hulk. I guess he can't do that because
Oh, Ang Lee's?
no, with
Eric Bana?
Eric Bana, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that's
it's a Universal film. I don't think they can do that, even if they wanted to, because they have the rights to Sony, right? They can do that with Sony.
yeah, and well, so
And Fox.
basically, what Universal didn't want to sell the whole. They have to like make a movie. They have to use the franchise, or they lose it, right?
Yeah.
So they made a deal with Disney, and they were like, "Look, we don't really want to give up the rights to this, but we're not pursuing making any more of these. So y'all can use the Hulk as much as you want. We just want to cut. We just give us a little, throw us some shekels on the side or whatever. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And like." But you can't do a Hulk solo movie. That's what they told him. You can use the Hulk, but you can't do a Hulk solo movie.
What I don't get is why. I guess they can predict the future, but why? It seemed like it was just kind of rushed and gung ho to pick out. Okay, a production company wants to finance this. Okay, we're going to pick you. Oh, you, we're going to pick you, and then knowing that this comic book world is so huge and massive that only with technology advancing that there would be more stories that they would be able to, because you got to stick with one company instead of going different production
I can tell you how that happened. Marvel almost went out of business in the 80s.
That's true.
So Stan Lee was selling off these movie rights to all their characters just to keep the doors open.
Yeah, that's true. The 90s were bad with comic books too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and so he was, I mean, he was
That
selling
makes
off
sense.
movie
That
rights
makes
left
sense.
and right. That's how Sony ended up with
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. That's how Fox ended up with the X-Men.
Yeah.
And then they piecemeal sold everything else off together. So it's going to be interesting the way that the MCU kind of unfolds this year, the rest of this year, next year. I can't believe this year's almost over.
It is almost over. It's about to be 2022.
Good, because 2021 sucks ass.
And then COVID-20 is going to be on the horizon. And then it'll be next year. It'll be COVID. The following will be COVID-21.
No, they're just going to start. They're going to start putting the fucking COVID vaccine in our food. That way, you don't have to worry about it.
I mean, speaking of Disney, they were pretty gung ho on the masks over there. Like for the indoor
Really?
rides, everybody out when you're walking outside, you're fine. But on the indoors, we were all wearing masks. But Penelope, who we celebrate her birthday there on the 27th,
She's 2, right?
she just turned 2, and I'm a bonehead. I'm carrying her at the Little Mermaid ride, and you know the guy was like, "Hey, does she have a mask?" And like, well, she hasn't been wearing a mask. And like, how old is she? And like, I said 2, which I probably should. She was 2 at the time, a day over 2. I should have said still 1 and some change. But yeah, he made a big deal about it. I'm like, dude, we were here for 5 days already, and you're the first person to say anything about her. I mean, I get me and my son and my wife, but okay, whatever. And like, no, just this one time. This next time, make sure, all right, whatever. Like, but it kind of put me in in a mood. It's rules. I get it, and I'm a fan of the rules, and I'm okay with it.
I'm not.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it. No issue whatsoever.
There's no reason to force anybody under the age of 3 or 4 to wear a mask.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. Like even when my son is a stretch, but thankfully that because of school he's able to wear the mask. And there's kids at his age was like, no, I don't want to wear it.
Did you get him a Woody mask? A Toy Story Woody mask?
No. We had a whole bunch of masks, and he could wear any mask. I mean, I didn't see any like Woody masks over there. Maybe I wasn't looking. I'm sure there were some. I just wasn't looking.
I thought that would be like his thing to get him to wear a mask.
No, he'll wear a fucking surgical mask. It doesn't matter. So he don't care. It's just that it's just man. Like we got 5 days in, and then you're the first person to say something, and you kind of make a big deal and showcase about it. It's like whatever. It is what it is.
Fuck them.
It's all good. But there are other kids over there who are like making a big deal about wearing them. So I was like, oh shit, I'm glad Landon.
Well, I mean,
it's tough to have a kid to wear them, man, and especially in the hot sun.
I mean, I kudos to you for having to deal with for dealing with that and doing a good job. Like, I guess like having to go through that. I mean, it's. I think it's tough. Personal opinions aside about the vaccine and stuff like that. Like, I don't like the science backs up the facts of, hey, you should get a vaccine. Everybody that can get a vaccine should get a vaccine, but also that is somewhat of a personal choice. If enough people get the vaccine, eventually the disease will be eliminated.
Eventually, over time.
But like the mask thing is it doesn't do enough to warrant forcing a mandate on people. It's not effective enough to be like, oh, this is something that we have to we should do and mandate across the board.
No,
you know what I mean?
It would if your place of business is solely confined within 4 walls. And then if that's what you want to do, okay, because you're in a confinement of 4 walls. But the fact that you're in the open space in Disney World when there's already ass and elbows.
Yeah. Was it that busy?
It wasn't as busy. I've been there a lot when it was a lot busy, but it's Disney World. It's always busy.
You've been there a lot.
It's always busy at Disney World. You know what I mean? It's just, it was crowded. I'm not taking 6 feet away from people. It's just I'm up against people, and it's just like, come on. I mean, I'm already catching it if I'm right there. You guys are not enforcing it outside.
Well, but we're running. So here's and that's the thing, and just.
But it's all good. I'm okay with for the record, I'm okay with the mask. I don't care.
Yeah, it's whatever.
It's whatever, But
the masks are supposed to keep spittle droplets from landing on things because that's how the virus is transmitted. It's not airborne. It's carried on the saliva. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to keep you from spitting and your spit droplets, and then somebody touches it and rubs their face. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to block that. That's how the mask is supposed to work. The problem is that unless you're wearing an N95 mask, it's not blocking any, you're not getting visible droplets of spit through it, but you are getting.
But there is a barrier. It's not. You can't rule that out. It's not like if I wasn't wearing a mask.
No, it is. It's partially effective,
right?
But if you're in confined, if you're in confined quarters, it's not effective. It's not effective
right.
at all.
It's a double-edged sword. It's because it's like, oh, I'm gonna eat. Oh, you don't need to wear the mask obviously because you got to eat. But I sneeze. It defeats the purpose of the mask in general.
Exactly.
So whatever.
This is not a COVID episode. We're not getting into that.
No.
Yeah. So,
but there was blood transferred in the Venom movie.
So
that's not by the comic books hand, is it? That's not in the comic books. The way Cletus becomes Carnage. I know we're kind of backtracking a little bit, but
not really. They don't really say it's just a spawn. So Venom has seeds. They reproduce asexually, which is a scientific term meaning they don't have to have a partner to have 2 different sets of DNA
like a frog,
to form
right?
another frog.
Frogs, they don't need any partner.
That's not true. I don't think that's true.
I think they're asexual. I think. Okay, sorry. I like to
more like Paul. You don't really. You don't need another person.
Just another Paul will just pop up somewhere.
Yeah. Oh God, that's all we need.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway, so that is yeah. So in the Klyntar, the symbiotes, that they reproduce asexually. So there's a little seed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got the other. They took the seeds out of Venom and forced them to spawn or whatever. So that was their. That's how. Whatever you
and frogs they reproduce sexually. I'm sorry, they're not asexual.
Whoops, sexually,
very sexually.
Do you are you watching Ted Lasso?
What is that?
It's a show on Apple TV Plus.
Okay, I don't have Apple TV Plus. Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso is probably the best TV show I've seen in the last 5 years.
I know you recommended Letterkenny.
Letterkenny is fucking. That's because you're not white, and I feel like you have to be white and like hockey to. I don't even like hockey.
I like hockey.
You have to like dialogue driven.
It's
comedy.
too Canadian for me, I think.
Maybe that's what it is.
That's probably what it is.
I mean, like Mexico and Canada are so far apart. You can only have one step of separation.
There you go.
Between the two.
If you expect
to make
me,
it funny.
if you expect me to reach comedy 1,000 miles up north, nah, too far from me.
Go fuck yourself.
But Ted Lasso.
So Ted Lasso. The premise of Ted Lasso is he was an American football coach for like a college or like a minor league team or something like that he turned around and they won the championship. So this lady that owns a soccer or football club in England hires him to come manage the football club in England, knowing he has zero experience coaching soccer. Has never coached soccer at all. And this is a professional soccer team.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the reason why is because she wants the team to fail, a la Major League, where, she wants the team to fail so that she can up and move it to Miami. Kind of the same thing, but she's going through a divorce and her husband owned the team, and that's what she feels like the only thing he ever loved. So she wants the team to fail. So she's like, I'm going to make the team fail. But Ted comes over, played by Jason Sudeikis, and he's just ultra positive. He like overwhelmingly positive about everything, and he's just such a good guy. He ends up winning her over. But anyway, like you got to watch the show because it is such a good show.
So it's a comedy.
It's a comedy. It's a comedy drama, whatever you want to. Yeah,
okay.
It is funny. It is definitely funny. There's some good one-liners in there, but yeah, that's my recommendation for the week. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's $5.99 a month for a subscription. Just fucking pay the $5.99, binge all 2 seasons of it, and then cancel of it. $5.
No, yeah.
$4.99. Sorry, not $5.99.
$4.99.
$4.99.
Yeah, okay. Ted Lasso. It's on my list of shit to watch, and amongst the Netflix show called, I think it's. Is it Split or something like that? You heard about that? I forget. Oh, it's a Korean.
There's another Apple TV. You're talking about the one with the masks.
Yeah,
Squids.
Squids. Yeah, I heard that's.
I've heard that one's pretty good. I'm not gonna watch it, but I heard it's good. The other one that I want to watch is Foundation, and that's based on a bunch of Isaac Asimov books.
Okay,
and that's on Apple TV Plus also.
Apple TV Plus is where it's at then.
I guess, man. Like.
What else? I mean, shit. I'm subscribed to Peacock for the WWE Network.
That came free with my Xfinity.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay, it did come free, but it does. You're right. Yeah. So now I got canceled because I was on WWE Network. So I think it rolled over to Peacock. I'm not too sure. Now
the only reason I still have Xfinity is for the Astros. That's it.
Yeah, I don't watch
the only reason.
Which now you better wait a month. They're in the playoffs, so we'll see how it goes, and then you can cancel your Xfinity, I guess.
I'm not gonna cancel my Xfinity.
No?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Got to have my Astros, man.
Yeah, but Astros season is going to be over in another month.
So what? Like, am I going to get a better deal when the season starts up next time? No. I am going to continue World Champs 2021 calling it right now.
Right now? Okay. All right.
I'm going to place a bet. A $200 bet on the Astros to win the World Series.
Oh, we go to Vegas?
In Vegas in 2 weeks.
I'm gonna place it. Okay, I don't think they're gonna make the World Series. Unfortunately, I wish they do, and I hope they do, but I don't think they are. Unfortunately,
I've spent $200 on worse things than that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. like the mic for Paul that's not here. That's more than $200, but whatever. And on that note,
What about the mic that's in the closet? Because we don't have a fourth. We don't even have a third. We don't. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It happens.
It happens. And on that note,
I'm Jake.
and I am Rob. And we have been Gentlemen No Class. And this is the shittiest exit music ever. Catch you on the next one.
Paul wrote another song. I think that's what he wanted to talk to us about. He's like, "Oh, I got something to talk to you about in 2 weeks." But I think it's his new song.
If it's some bullshit like he wants to come back full time, like fuck that. He better come. He